Salut tout le monde, bienvenue à notre classe. Hello everyone, welcome to another class, another lesson. Today we'll be taking on the verb être. In our previous lesson we are taking on avoir, which means to have. Now we'll be taking on être, which is to be. Okay, and we're just gonna, just like we did with avoir, we're gonna conjugate the verb être into its present tense and take it on from there as simply as possible. All right. So être in the various persons would be I am is je suis, you are, tu es, he is, il est, she is, elle est, we are, nous sommes, you are, vous êtes, they are, ils sont, they are, elles sont. So once again, just like I highlighted in our previous lesson with avoir, with être, you will notice some similarities with the conjugations, all right, and also maybe some differences. So you are seems to be repeated twice, and that's because there's the informal and formal way of saying it. So if you'd gone through our previous lessons, you realize that tu es is more informal. It's more about the friendly tone, someone you know, whom you're cordial with, or someone who's younger than you. While vous êtes, or the word actually vous, is for seniority, someone who's older than you, someone who's a stranger. Yeah. And then also you have another repetition, which is they are. And you'll also notice that il is plural for many men or males, right? Like a group of males. While else is plural for many females, right? And then the singular version of that is il est and elle est, which is on the other side, okay, which is he is and she is, okay. And once again, to remind you, is that if, for example, there is one male in a group of females, that group will be referred to as is, ILS. All right. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is in French. Yeah. So that group will be referred to as a male group, right? As opposed to females, which you say else, right? So it will be ils sont. Okay. So yeah, we've already taken note of all the some of those rules in there. But just keep that in mind. And with all that, let's start making little sentences with it. Okay. But we first need to identify some scenarios in which this can be used. All right. One of which is, for example, the jobs and career. So a farmer is fermier, doctor is docteur or médecin, engineer is ingénieur, electrician is électricien. There's also a female version of it, which is électricienne. There's an E after the N. Likewise, for journalist, it will be journaliste. If it's female, you add an E after the T. Driver is chauffeur. Manager, gérant, or directrice or directeur. And pilot is pilot. You know, so it's this is where your dictionary comes into use. So it's important to when you come across certain words or careers or whatever, try to find out the male and female version of it, or what is it actually in French. So this is just a continuous learning process, that you're going to be on. So with that, how would we say I am a manager in French? Knowing already what we know about what it is in the present tense and what a manager is called in French. So if you take your time, think about it for a few seconds, and then we'll jump straight into it to answer that. Okay. So before we jump into it, point number two is we're also going to look at what are the scenarios in which "être" can also be used, okay, aside from jobs and careers. So, what do you think "I am" in French? So, "I am a manager" in French would be, right? So, it would be "Je suis gérant" or "directrice" or "directeur." You get that? Yeah. So, you're going to use, let's go back to the previous slide on conjugation. "I am" will be the top one, "Je suis," all right? And you simply add the job or the career at the end of it. Gérant, directeur, directrice, and all that. Awesome. So you got that. Now let's take note of other scenarios in which this can also be used. So it can be used for location. For example, I am at Lagos. Je suis à Lagos. I am happy. Je suis heureux. I am tired. Je suis fatigué. I am seated. Je suis assise. I am angry. Je suis fâché. Okay, so these are some scenarios in which je suis can be used. But once again, have a look at your dictionary and find out how these are written out in French, um, in, and you know how they're written out, how they're spoken in French as well. So you see the pronunciation. So you see how it's written out in French in the dictionaries, and then you can pronounce it from there. So the different scenarios here. So, for example, I am hungry. Okay, sorry, we'll get to that a little bit later on in the next slide. But something like I am, or say he is asleep. Um, I am. Let's take something else. I am a chef. So what's a chef called in French? To play around with that with your dictionary. But there are some scenarios, right, in which the verb avoir is used instead of être. Okay, and these scenarios are, for example, I am sleepy. It will not be je suis sommeil. No, it will be j'ai sommeil. Another one is we are hungry, which would be nous avons faim. Or if you want to say I am hungry, it would be what? Got that? J'ai faim. So the verb avoir will be used as opposed to être. And obviously, if you want to talk about someone's age or someone describing their age, for example, you're describing someone's age as she is 20 years old, it will not be elle est 20 ans. No, it will be elle a 20 ans. Okay, so but engaging with content like news articles, written articles as well, um, different kinds of content, then you get to find out the differences on where avoir will be used in place of être, and where être, will also be used in place of avoir. So these are things that you learn along the line through watching, reading other online content, offline content as well. Yeah, and also paying attention also to your dictionary. It's quite important. So with that in mind, and all done, we here's a little assignment for you to go on. Practice writing and also pronouncing um, the verb être, conjugating it in its present tense, and using all the persons as well. Also write it out, in French. So you're pronouncing, speaking, and you're also writing it. And in this way, you'll be able to pick it up, a lot more faster. And then you can start making little sentences, with your friends or family and all that. All right. So we've reached the end of the lesson. Yeah. Félicitations. Congratulations. And that's just all really. So until our next class, if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button and also tap that bell so that you can get a notification, ding 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 when new content is uploaded. So au revoir and à tout à l'heure. See you later, and until next class, keep safe and yeah, keep studying, practicing. Ciao, au revoir.